What is going on? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Let's go ahead and get it. Today, we're going to be talking about our lesson plans. We're going to be looking at knowing your vehicle. It's really important that you set a personal goal, and that personal goal will allow you to reach your goal. And when you reach your goal, you're here for independence. The reason you're watching this, you want to learn how to drive. You want to learn how to live your best authentic life. I drove in today to the lab. There was a lot of traffic going on. I'll be putting that video up in a few minutes. Let's talk about vehicle ownership. I'm going to highlight some of the main points. Today we're talking about knowing your vehicle. Vehicle ownership. Once you have received your title is a green piece of paper or red. It shows vehicle ownership. Your title should be kept at home. If the credit union or bank or the manufacturer owns your car, they will keep the title. And once it's paid for, it will be mailed to you. Never keep the title in your car, because if it's stolen, your person has the title and then they have possession of the vehicle. Next, driving protocols. Let's talk about driving protocols. As you approach your vehicle, you should begin to check for fluids underneath, check your tires. You never want to turn your back to oncoming traffic. Walk toward traffic so people can see you. You want to see and be seen. Like I have this beautiful purple shirt on today. People should see that. I should not be turning my back to traffic because I could get hit. Don't turn your back to traffic. Once you have entered your vehicle, make sure immediately that you put on your seatbelt. A lot of beginning drivers just come in, put the key in and go. You will fail your test. Come in, lock your door, then put on your seatbelt. Then I want to see you move your seat forward or back. I'm moving my seat back. Move it forward. Then I want you to frame the rear window in your center mirror. So when you're driving, I should see you looking up. Okay, pretend you're in the car with me. Next, your side mirror. That's your driver's side. We're in America, so our steering wheel's on the left. If we were in the UK, Australia, India, it will be on the right. So I want to see you get your hands on the wheel. Then I want to see you look to the left. Adjust your side mirror so you see a little bit of the rear door handle. So when you're driving, I should see you looking and checking. Go ahead and do this with me. Look and check. Look and check. Next, your right side mirror or your passenger side. Bring that mirror in, adjust it. So when you're driving, I should see you looking. Don't be scared to look around. A lot of beginners are so scared to look around. It's okay. I'm your co-pilot. I'm here to help you. And we're following what? Our lesson plan. Okay, this is knowing your vehicle. I'm going to go through some of the main elements. And then if you want greater detail, just let me know. So next topic, we're going to go ahead and talk about vehicle controls. We're talking about the steering wheel. We're talking about the horn. We're talking about the windshield wipers and the ignition switch. I have a quick story to tell you. I was driving into the office last summer. I was in a hurry. I have a push to start. I have the key fob in my pocket, and I'm going to show you what a key fob is. This is a key fob. I want to go ahead and show this to you. This is what it looks like, okay? All of you should be able to see this. This has all the digital information electronically to start the car, to turn the car off, and if I push the red button, don't want to do that, the alarm will go off. In case of a panic situation, you can push this red button, you should be able to see it. So what I did, you need to push and hold the ignition button. I did, and I thought the car was off. I left. The car was running all day. I said to myself, why is this car so hot? It should be nice and cool. I left the car running all day. So the car had used about 3 gallons of gasoline. Thank God it didn't run out. It would have burned out the fuel pump in the tank. So learn from that experience. Make sure your car is completely shut down and keep this key fob. And if you lose these, they're $250 to $500. Keep this key fob in your backpack, in your pocket. So my key fob goes into my pocket. And yes, I did cut off my car. So learn from that experience. There is a steering wheel, so we want to have our hands at 9 and 3. The National Highway Safety Transportation says 7 and 5, and we're down here at the lower position, 7 and 5. tends to be the best spot. A lot of people argue 9 and 3, 10 and 2, 7 and 5. We know there's an airbag in the middle. We're not going to insult our intelligence and say, watch out for the airbag. In the United States, parking maneuvers, right turns, reverse parking. You're turning hand over hand into the turn. You're turning hand over hand out. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, put your hands on the steering wheel. Pretend you have a steering wheel. Turn, hand, pick up, over hand. Turn out, hand, over hand. Congratulations, you just did a parallel park. Congratulations, you just made a right turn. When I teach beginners how to drive, you have to learn how to turn the wheel. A lot of beginners do what? They stare at the steering wheel. Don't stare at the steering wheel. Hey, if this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to talk to you for about another 20 minutes. This is your virtual lesson. Put questions in. Next, let's talk about gear select. Certain cars have a column shifter or a shifter on the floor. You put your foot on the brake and then you put it into R. R is for reverse, will back up. Some cars have a backup camera. No pun intended, I said back up and then backup camera. You have to look out of your back window. There's a brick wall behind me. You should be able to see these two posters right here. If I don't look out of my back window, I'll just see the brick wall. So I need you to look as you back up. It's important that you look out of your back window. Let's go on to the next topic. We're talking about mirror usage fact sheet. You're getting value right now. Mirror usage fact sheet. Mirror usage, any time, speed, or position adjustments are necessary. The driver must consider the location, size, and speed of the vehicle. A bigger vehicle, you have bigger blind spots. There are 4. Left side, right side, front, and back. Say it with me. There are 4. Left side, right side, front, and back. I have a lot of videos on those. Feel free to look at those. You've got to look around you. There's a blind spot to my right. There's a blind spot to my left. How do you check your blind spot? You look over your shoulder. Quick glance. How do I check my blind spot to the right? You look over your shoulder. You have to look, but I have a blind spot mirror. So what? Don't care. Look, check your blind spot. Next, changing lanes. I'm highlighting some of the major points of mirror usage fact sheet. Changing lanes. What I need you to do, the driver must attempt to change lanes and should be checked before changing lanes. A lot of beginners just go over. That's a driving error. You will fail your road test. You'll cut off a car. You'll create an accident. And then you're going to be the ones who's crying because what happened? You didn't check your blind spot. You just cut off a car. And people are very nervous around beginning drivers, around student drivers. We do have the yellow sign on top and the back. It does say student driver, but drivers act some type of way. You should understand what I'm saying. Traditional mirror settings. Outside mirrors are set through the driver and the back edge of the vehicle. Remember, I talked about that, the back edge of the vehicle. Okay, let's pretend this is the back edge of your vehicle. This is the left. This is the right. This is the back edge. This is the back edge. You have to look over your shoulder to check the back edge. I'm making sense to you this morning. I know you are. Knock, knock, knock. Are you there? If you're there, give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes. So enhanced mirror settings, there are some mirror settings where there is a smaller mirror that magnifies more. You can see more, but you still have to look over your shoulder. Next, let's go on to the instrument panel fact sheet. Hey, you're getting value right now. You see that instrument panel? I know you see it. So we're talking about the speedometer. We're talking about fuel gauges. We're talking about tachometer. You need to know this information to prepare for your knowledge test. In some parts of the world, they're going to ask you questions about the instrument panel. You have to know this information. You're getting real value. Why? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I'm giving you information. I have 15 minutes and I'm still going to give you information, put questions in. So the biggest gauge I feel is the speedometer. Next, because I come from a automotive drag racing, your oil pressure. then your temperature, then of course your fuel gauge. You want to get fuel at about a fourth of a tank. You don't want to wait. So we went over the instrument panel. Let's keep it going. Vehicle safety technology, one of my favorite. We're talking about locking the door so you're not ejected from the vehicle. Head restraint. There's a cushion in the back of your seat to protect your head in case of a rear end collision. Hey, if you're trying to be the student of the week, you need to reach out to me. Student of the week. How do I become student of the week? You leave a lot of positive comments. You subscribe to the channel. I will pick a person. I'll get your name, and then I'll highlight you. London Willis was the viewer last week. She left some great comments. She's 27 years old. She passed her test. She said your videos are so helpful. So God bless you, London Willis. Let's talk about that vehicle safety technology. Cruise control and traction control. Traction control will pull power from the engine in case you are getting prepared to get on the road, your car is slipping in water and snow and ice. It's really important that you all understand. And many times people who want to learn how to drive say random stuff, and people who really want to learn how to drive say passionate stuff. So next, let's talk about ESP, Electronic Stability Program. This program will pull power from the car if you're going around a curve. If your car is spinning out to the left, it will actually hit the inside brakes to slow you down. If you're going around a curve to the right, it will hit the inside brakes. It's really a fantastic technology. You will see this as a question on your knowledge test. You'll ask questions on your road test. You've seen instructors around the world do emergency stops. That is really important. Next, let's talk about blind spot detectors in your mirrors. Let's pretend this is your mirror. On the inside or outside, you'll have a little flash. You'll have a little star that will flash if a car, let's pretend this phone is in my blind spot to my left. It will flash if a car or a truck or an object is there. These are driver assist technologies to help you learn how to drive. We're going to keep going. I'm just hitting a few highlights. Next, basic driving maneuvers. How do you hold the steering wheel? There's multiple ways. There's 9 and 3. There's 10 and 2. There's 7 and 5. You as a beginning driver need to hold the steering wheel that is comfortable for you. You learn from your instructor. You learn from your mom. You learn from your dad. You learn from playing video games. But the National Highway Safety Transportation says that 7 and 5 is the safest position. We want to use scholarly reports that are peer-reviewed. A lot of people just talk and say random stuff. I want to use high-quality sources that makes my video more credible. So if people are saying 7 and 5, 10 and 2, 9 and 3, hand to hand, hand over hand, have sources to back up what you're saying. Okay? So it's really important. We have push-pull. This is push-pull. Please go ahead and do this with me. This is push-pull. We have hand over hand. Please go ahead and take a moment and turn the hand over hand into the turn. Please take a moment and do hand over hand out. It's a warm-up drill, and if you were one of my clients, I would take you into the parking lot. We would go up the aisle, down the aisle, up the aisle, teaching you to have visual reference, to have space, to have depth perception, because beginning drivers misjudge cars, misjudge traffic and distance. And many of you want to get into a car, but you have a coach, your mom, your dad, who screams at you, who belittles you, who gives you stress and anxiety. And if you have someone like that, you're 21, you're 27, you're 34 years old. You're not going to really want to learn how to drive because your coach, your support system, he or she is belittling you all the time. I don't do that because I understand the human psyche. You want to be supportive to your beginning drivers. A lot of beginning drivers do light traffic driving. What does this mean? You go from school to home. You go from home to the store. You go from the store maybe to grandma's house. You're not taking really intense traffic. And then I have videos to show you the flow, the speed, the dangers. So I thought that was really good. Next, let's talk about reversing. Reversing is a very dangerous maneuver. The fact that you're backing up and you have limited visibility, you could hit a car. You can run over a kid. There are blind spots behind, but I have a backup camera. So there's a car to your left. There's a car to your right. Look out your back window. I have to tell you a story. We saw a client, wasn't one of my clients. The client failed his road test and could not parallel park because he failed to look out of his back window. When you're reversing in at a 45 angle, look over your shoulder. You're turning your hands all the way to the right. You should be doing this with me. You get in at a 45 angle. Then once you turn back all the way to the left. You must master this maneuver or you won't be able to parallel park. Your parents have spent a lot of money, you took off work, mom and dad got there early. If you fail your test, you're going to disappoint your mom, your dad, and yourself. So you need to be looking at my content. Let's continue. Let's talk about parking for a moment. This is our parallel park maneuver. I just enforced this. This is stall parking. Good speed control is very important. Take your time and live and learn. Look at these tutorials to help you balance and back into a space. This is to perform when the driver pulls their vehicle into a reverse spot, into a backing spot. Perpendicular parking, this form of parking is the most common and usually is the simplest way to park. Perpendicular parking is executed when the driver pulls their vehicle into a parking spot by driving straight. So you need to know how to master these. Remember, we're just going through some of the basic fundamentals. Signs, signals, and pavement markings. All of you should know these. There are multiple categories. These are guide signs. Guide signs are blue and white, brown and white. These are your warning signs. Warning signs are yellow with a black lettering. Okay, yellow background, black lettering, black stripes. These are your regulatory signs. If you don't understand and know these types of signs, you will not pass your test. Most beginning drivers mix up stop and yield signs. You're probably saying, how did they do that? Because they don't understand stop. You have to stop for 3 seconds. Say it with me. 1001, 1002. Stop for 3 seconds, the minimum time. Yield means you slow down and look left and right. If we have a sign and a car comes that does not have a sign, they have the right of way. Wrong way, do not enter. You'll see this on one ways, typically on ramps merging onto the expressway. Railroad crossing. You as a beginning driver have to understand about these things. So if you don't understand signs and signals, you will struggle. This is a whole unit within itself. I'll be putting together some digital products to help you understand. So again, regulatory. Okay, regulatory. Stop signs, warning signs, guide signs. You have to understand these categories if you want to be successful. Warning signs, these signals draw attention to imminent or upcoming danger. Warning signs. Guide signs, these signs inform users of interesting routes, places available. Guide signs. Next, regulatory signs. These signs tell road users they may not do any of the specific actions. So you've been educated. Snap your fingers. If you want to be student of the week, you've got to give it a thumbs up. You got to leave comments. I'm going to go back in the comments and look up student of the week. London Willis was my student of the week last week. 27 years old, learning how to drive, looked at my tutorials, reached out, had a virtual lesson. She passed her test. What is our lesson plans today? We're learning how to drive. I'm going over some of the basic materials. We talked over regulatory signs, warning signs, and guide signs. You must know these types of signs. Let's talk about our traffic light. All areas around the world have traffic light. Red means stop. It's red. Yellow is a warning. And here's a trap. Here's a tip. If you can stop safely in 3 seconds, you should stop safely. You want to look. You never want to go through a yellow light if all possible. You don't want to slam your brakes. If you slam your brakes, that's a dangerous maneuver. You could fail your test and get rear-ended. Green does not mean go. Green means to look left, look right. Always look, cars run lights. You also have turning arrows. Next, we're going to talk about pavement markings. We have a yellow line. Yellow line. If you have a solid double yellow line, you cannot pass. If you have a broken double yellow line on your side, you can pass, but it has to be safe. You can't exceed the speed limit. Next, let's talk about intersections. These are some of the most dangerous for beginning drivers. Intersections, okay? Most intersections are controlled by traffic control devices, a light that directs the flow of traffic. Uncontrolled intersections, there's no light, there's no sign. There's a partially controlled intersection. There may be a stop sign on your left or a stop sign on your right. You have the right of way. It's really important that is this a UK, a US test? It is both. You need to understand about your pavement markings. Knowledge is knowledge, whether you're in the UK, the United States, Australia, India. Stop is stop. The signs are just different. Yield is yield. The signs are just different. Every state, every country, I've been up to Canada this year, I've been up to Montreal, they have different signs. It is up to the road user to understand the type of light, the type of signs. You need to understand that these are guide, these are warning, and these are regulatory. You must understand that. Knowledge is important. Knowledge is power. You should be able to name some of these signs. You should be able to tell me these signs. This is your knowledge test. You should be able to tell me, those of you who are watching, pick one sign and type it in. I'll leave this up here for a moment. Okay, I asked you to put in information. We have a few people putting in. Remember, I'm looking for the student of the week. If you're trying to be the student of the week and I'll get you on to be a co-host, you need to be putting in information. Okay, I need more people to respond. I need a thumbs up. I'm asking for engagement. I need some thumbs up. If this brought you value, it's going to be thumbs up. I have a couple more minutes. So I'm going to highlight some of these signs and not all of them. This is a guide sign. H is for hospital. If you're hurt and you need medical attention, you should understand what this is. Next, this is a warning sign of a stop ahead. You should be able to tell me what this is. This is a school zone. There's no crosswalk here. This is a school zone. You need to know that you need to slow down. There are kids. This is your regulatory sign, stop. S-T-O-P. This is also a regulatory sign. It's not a warning. These are some of your older traditional signs. Yield sign. You'll see this on a service drive to the edge. This is also a regulatory sign. Do not enter. Let's review. We've talked about some lessons for the United States, for the UK. If you want to be student of the week or a co-host, you need to subscribe. You need to leave comments. You need to give it a thumbs up. London Willis was our student of the week last week. I'm shouting her out. We covered our lesson plans today. I went through signs. I went through pavement markings and parking. You're getting something really thorough. We went through traffic lights. I'm not highlighting some of the main points to show you value. We are going through the different types of signs, regulatory, warning, guide. Just Going back, highlighting, good teachers are thorough. We went through some of the pavement markings and parking. I see a few people putting in comments. We talked a little bit about right and left turns. We talked a little bit about reversing into a parking spot, looking over your shoulder. Just don't rely on your backup camera. We talked about hand placement on the steering wheel, 9 and 3, 10 and 2, 7 and 5. We talked about using scholarly sources. A lot of people on the internet are saying, don't cross your hands, don't do this, don't do that. We know this. We know there's an airbag in the middle. We're not trying to blow our thumbs up. The National Highway Safety Transportation in the United States, that is my authority, says that 7 and 5 is a better position for holding steering wheel for parallel parking, for making right turns, for making left turns, turn into the nearest lane. I want you to be student of the week. The people who subscribe and leave comments, I'm going to look at the comments, leave a positive, thoughtful comment, not anything random. I'm looking for the student of the week. We'll reach out. I'll get you to be a co-host. We followed the lesson plans today. London Willis was our person, the student of the week from last week. I want to say thank you. We'll edit this and get us out. Bye.